Hello there and welcome to Sue's Paper Creations. Today is Tuesday and I have got a quick and easy tip for you on masking off areas of color on a card. So I'm going to just show you quickly some samples of what I mean here. This is one that I created that has a circle of color that's been masked off. So you can see how there's a perfect circle of a light blue color, and then I've stamped actually within that circle. And it doesn't go outside the circle there. So I've masked that area off and stamped inside of it. Okay. This is another example of some masking. In this case, I've used it more as a background to place this focal point, the glimmer butterfly on there. So it's a square mask that I've done with some color and also stamped a little bit of detail in the background and then place that butterfly on top. Okay. So I'm going to, first step I'm going to do is just show you how to create the actual mask that you're going to use to make the shape in the background there. Okay, so this is really simple and easy to do. All that you need is a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I actually cut it the exact same size as the front of the card. So when I was cutting out for the card, I just cut two pieces. This one's actually going to be my mask. And then I also have just a piece of photocopy paper. So it's very thin paper. And I'm going to show you the reason why I did that in just a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm going to do the butterfly card. So I'm going to be cutting a square shape mask out of this piece of paper, and I've got the thin piece of just photocopy paper underneath. Okay, and again I'll show you why I've done that in just a minute. All right, so I'm going to line that up. I'm going to put my piece of paper on top, or sorry, my second clear plate, and I'm going to run this through. Nope. And again, you hear some cracking noises in there. That is normal. That is just the actual cutting into the plastic there, which is always what happens with your Big Shot. So if you hear noises like that while you're cutting and using your Big Shot, not to worry about it. Okay, so I'm going to take all this apart and I'm going to show you what I've got. So I have got one, you can see the shape cut out of there. That's going to be the mask for our shading. Okay, I have got this second piece, which is just made out of the thin photocopy paper. Okay, and then I've got this square circle, which I'm going to put aside, and I'm going to use that for another card, maybe the front of a little 3x3 card, which would be cute. Okay, now the reason for the two pieces of paper is this: when you are stamping, and you are stamping straight onto a flat surface, and you're using the thicker, the Whisper White paper is a lot thicker than just your photocopy paper. Okay, so when I put the mask over top and I do my shading, which you'll see, when I go to stamp afterwards, if I were to just use this mask, which is the same thickness as this paper that we're stamping on, it has a little bit of a ridge on it. And what's going to happen is when you go to stamp it, you can see how this part of the hot air balloon here didn't go all the way to the mask circle. Can you see that? And that's just because of that little tiny difference in thickness. It causes a little void there for when you're stamping. Okay, so that's why I cut out the second sheet, and it's nice and thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one to shade my color, and I'm going to use this one for when I'm stamping. So I'm going to go through that with you right now. I'm going to bring in, this is my card front, and I'm going to bring in the mask, and I'm just going to place it right over top. Okay, now people might say, well, why don't you just simply use this thin paper to do all the masking? And the reason for it, I find, is because the photocopy paper is so thin, you're going to see all the rubbing and stuff that I do to create the sponging to get the block of color. And I mean, I'm rubbing with a little bit of force, and I've tried it before with just this thin piece of paper, and sometimes it ends up ripping. And so that's why I go with the thicker paper for the shading. And it doesn't take much time at all to switch them over. You'll see in a second. So what I did is I used just a couple pieces of old washi tape that I had, okay? And I just taped it down onto my work surface. That's gonna make it so this mask isn't gonna move at all, and you don't have to worry about it moving, okay? So I'm gonna bring in my camera and let's do some shading. So I've got just one of our Stampin' Sponges that I cut them into 6 wedges usually, the big circles. And I've got Pool Party is the color. And I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna sponge some color into our square. So I like to really rub it along the edges because that's going to define that the edges of the block of color when you take the mask off. It's really going to make it pop. Okay. Now I also don't worry about having super even coverage of color. I like it better if there is areas of darker and lighter shading. I just think that it adds texture and character to the finished product if you have some lighter and darker, okay? So it's hard to actually see the color difference until I take the mask off here, which I'm going to do. So now that I've got my block of color there, I'm gonna just peel back. This is the one mask. And I mean, you can use, the nice thing is because it is thicker paper and this washi tape just peels off really easy, you can use this one over and over again. So if you wanna do like a stack of a dozen cards, you could do them all at the same time. And you could use that same mask. It's going to hold up because you're using the thicker cardstock on it. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in my thin one here. And you can see now that I've got that mask off of there. See how that color is a little bit more noticeable? So I'm going to pop this thin one over top. And you should be able to line it up quite easily because it is the exact same size. I'm going to, again, I like to just tape it down a little bit, just so it doesn't move on me. Okay, and I'm going to bring in a couple stamps from our Timeless Textures. So this is a great, awesome stamp set. We have one that's also called Gorgeous Grunge. I love all these kind of background stamps for just doing a little bit of texture. So they're great to pull out whenever you need a little extra thing in the background. So I'm going to use these dots here, and I'm also going to use this beautiful accent piece right here. Okay, so I'm going to start by stamping those dots, and I'm actually going to do, I want them just to be a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to go tone on tone. I love doing things tone on tone. And let's just pull it in for you. Having a hard time just setting up the camera tonight. There we go. Just so I'm in the screen here, and I want you to be able to see this. There we go. Now I'm going to just stamp just some dots so you can see. Just a few. I'm going to do one there, and maybe one over here like that. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Mint Macaroon, which I absolutely love this color. And I'm going to stamp that other beautiful kind of lacy stem onto the area here. So I'm going to do one there. See how beautiful that is? And one maybe over here. And I'm going to do one maybe a little bit here. I think I'm good. Maybe one over there, a little bit. Okay, I think that's good because I'm going to have a butterfly in the middle of it. Okay, so now I have got shading, I have got my stamping done, and I can peel this mask away like that. And look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that easy? So again, the nice thin layer to stamp on makes it so those stamps went right to the very, very edge. There is no void in between the stamp and the edge of the blocked color. Okay, so that's why you want to use that thin paper. And like I said, it doesn't take very long. And with this, peeling it on and off, you're not rubbing it. This mask you can use over and over again too. So you've got your 2 sets of masks put aside. If you want to make a bunch of these cards, you can make them all at the same time. Okay. So the rest of this card is very quick and easy. I'm going to bring in my Big Shot here, and we will just cut out a butterfly. And then I'm gonna just show you one other quick tip. I know it was in my ribbon tips earlier this month, but I am going to be doing one of the ribbon tips from another video here again, so I can review that with you. Okay, so I have got my precision plate down here because I am going to be cutting out one of our butterfly thinlets. And it's a beautiful detailed butterfly. So having that precision plate is going to make it so that this butterfly cuts out very easily. And I'm going to go back the other way as well. Like so. There. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this out of the way. And I don't actually have my little my brush for my Big Shot brush here. So the nice thing is I'm hoping that this is cut out. I just need something to pop it out here. Let me just see what I've got just to tuck into. Yeah, I do need it. Hold on. Just takes a second here. There we go. So I just wanted to be able to pop this out without damaging it. There we go. So there's some of the pieces there. And there's the beautiful butterfly. So with the precision plate, the nice thing is it does cut out these detailed pieces so beautifully that, you know, all you have to do is just do a little rubbing, a little flicking to get all the pieces out. So there's the beautiful butterfly. And I have chosen actually a different color for this card. I have chosen to use the Bermuda Bay instead of Mint Macaroon, which is this one. So you can see how the the Bermuda Bay also looks beautiful on that Mint Macaroon background. So we've got those two pieces there. And I'm going to just tie a little ribbon here on. I'm going to make a little ribbon to tie on the bottom of here. And I wanted to show you, like I did a couple weeks ago, how if you just tie your ribbon around something circular like this, like a little pin. Okay, and I'm going to just make sure that tie is nice and flat. You can pull it off just like this. You end up with a little loop, okay, like that. And then you can just cut that loop on a diagonal down the center. And you have got a cute little bow with equal size little tails to go across your paper, okay? So, again, quick and easy. For different widths ribbons, you can use different widths of things to tie around. So it's a quick and easy way to make a nice pretty ribbon. Now I'm going to bring in, I've got some Sweet Sugar Plum is the ribbon color. So I'm just going to bring in a stamp here that says Happy Birthday. And this is just from the Butterfly Basics. I just really like the scripture here for this card. It fit on here perfectly. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp this on the bottom. Just like that. Okay, and I'm going to attach my little ribbon with some glue dots that we made. I'm just going to put one little glue dot on each end of the ribbon. So I just press it right on there. Then I lift the glue dot off with the ribbon. Makes it easy to attach it. Oh, come on, the little crinkle makes it a little bit harder on this crinkle ribbon, but there we go. And then I'm just going to pop this, have a look and see where I want the ribbon to go, and I'm going to tuck this around the back side like that. Okay, so there is the ribbon. So that was nice and easy to do. And then I'm just going to pop out my butterfly, and then we're going to pop it onto the base of the card. And that is how quick and easy this card goes together. Okay, I'm going to, for the butterfly with the dimension Again, use up all your little pieces around the edges because one of those little pieces fits perfectly down the center of the butterfly. Okay, so you don't see it. So there we go. Butterfly in the center. I'll bring in my card base. And I'm actually going to pop the whole front of this onto that card base. Again, I'm just going to use up all the little extra pieces that I've got on the edge. There we go, and I'm going to just peel these off like that. And pop that down. And there is your finished card. Okay, so quick and easy way to make a mask. All right, and there is the finished card with a little ribbon on it and one of these beautiful butterflies. Now, before I go, I want to remind you that this glimmer paper is available just till the end of this month, or actually while supplies last, because we are heading into the second half of March, and celebration will be winding down at the very end of March. So if you are wanting to get some of this beautiful glimmer paper, now is the time to get your orders in for any celebration items, because they will be gone as the end of March. But a lot of these are while supplies last now. So we're already out of our card tins, and stuff like this is going to go pretty fast. So if you have orders, remember to use the hostess code. There it is there that I've got for this month of March. Just pop this in my online store, which is Sue Phillip, PHILIP, .stampinup.net, and you can pop in an order. Any order over $60 is going to get you one of these celebration items. So you could pick these papers before they're gone, and then also I will check in one of my freebies in the mail for you, which is my 4-card card kit. So that will come out to the mail to you as well for any order over $50. So get those items that you want. Stock up on your cardstock, up on your inks, any of those things before the end of the month, so you can take advantage of getting free stuff during celebration. Okay, so have a great rest of your week. I hope that this will be an easy technique that you can start doing at home to mask off a little bit of color and add a little bit of texture to the backgrounds of all your cards. Okay, thank you.